Shit never changes.
Listen, I can't go out tonight.
Jeff Chang, you're 21 years old now.
Your a-hole dad
Isn't here anymore. Dickwads. He's totally here.
Yep, that's definitely his voice.
Right?
Your interview is at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Be rested, be sharp, do not embarrass me.
What's up, everybody? I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones. This is MaffmanJones Movie Reviews, and today's featured movie is an early review for a movie coming out on March 1st, 2013, 21 and Over. 21 and Over seems to be this year's response to Project X, which was enjoyable, but after watching it again, I completely almost hate it now for some reason. It's a one-and-done type of movie, but this movie I didn't know what to expect, and it has no real stars in it. The stars are Miles Teller, who was in Footloose, the remake, and Project X last year, Justin Chon, and Skylar Astin. Those three actors play the three friends in this movie who are part of the central plot. And the central plot is basically that Justin Chon's character, Jeff Chang, it's his 21st birthday, and his friends want to take him out to have drinks and have a really fun time. They end up going, and he gets so shit-faced that he passes out unconscious to the point where he can't even, he's really shit-faced, he's bombed. This is the worst case scenario, however, because Jeff Chang has an interview for a job that will change his career forever and basically set him up for the rest of his life. And this is very close, only a few hours away, so now his two friends have to take him home somehow, some way, and get him back for the interview. I can say right off the top of the bat that 21 and Over is much better than Project X as a movie, and it almost reminded me of Weekend at Bernie's, except that the guy that the two guys are carrying around isn't dead, he's just unconscious. The plot of the movie is somewhat durable, and even though one of the characters is unconscious for most of the movie, the trio of characters, they're very likable. Well, not very likable, but they're likable to the fact where you can get invested into the movie. The chemistry is quite solid, and if there was anything to fall back on in this movie, if it failed, it would be on these three characters, because they did a pretty good job. Even though there are some really raunchy jokes that just come out of nowhere and don't really do anything for me, there were a lot of jokes that actually gave me some chuckles and laughs, and I was having a fun time watching this movie. Pop culture references are neglected in this movie, but there are quite a few mentions of movies that people really fairly enjoy, and one is 500 Days of Summer. You mention 500 Days of Summer or Joseph Gordon-Levitt in any of your movies, I don't care what it is, you get some boosting morale for that. Now, to retrace my steps, I did enjoy myself with this movie, and I thought the chemistry was solid, but I did have problems. The story, even though it's durable, it's very cliched and predictable, and you can see everything coming from about a mile away. It was quite apparent that this film is trying to be somewhat of this generation's road trip or Euro trip, in that sense, of that kind of comedy movie, and it somewhat succeeds, but it doesn't reach that status where people are going to probably remember this movie 10 years from now. Also, more than halfway into the movie, they attempt to introduce some kind of dark plot device that attempts to invoke emotion in people, but it doesn't really work for me. It worked on some level, again, but I just think the overall story wasn't good enough that warranted something of an emotional core. I really appreciate them trying to send some heart into the movie, but it just didn't work. There were no real laugh-out-loud moments in this movie for me personally. Comedy is very subjective, and the first time around I didn't have any ha-ha-ha-ha moments. But maybe a second time around I'll enjoy it more, but the most I got out of this movie was a high chuckle. Overall though, 21 and Over is a fairly enjoyable comedy with likable, relatable characters, a very implausible plot with plenty of plot holes. At the end of the day though, despite the implausibility, that's not what this movie is about. It's about these three friends who haven't really had a connection in years because of college, coming back together to form a friendship that they've lost in the past. And it gives the movie some heart and a reason to go back and watch it again. 21 and Over is a Sam Worthington.
Let's get drunk.
It's quite a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. It's just very generic, and I just can't get it to a full-course Applebee's meal because it wasn't that good, in my opinion. For the one-night stand rating, which is based on replay value, I would give this a 5 or 6, so it would be the equivalent of waking up and looking at your girl, and she's pretty moderately decent, and you go, not bad. So, if you plan to see 21 and Over, let me know why you want to see it, or if you have already seen it, let me know why you enjoyed it or not in the comments down below. Please subscribe to MaffmanJones right there or down, and also like this video. Check out Twitter, Facebook, and We Live Film in the info box as well. I am John Maffio from MaffmanJones Movie Reviews, And it's really ironic because when I reviewed Project X last year, I said that it was really good and I enjoyed it and I gave it like a 3 or a 4 out of 5. Now I would give it like a 1. My, how the times have changed already. See you next time. What the f...